All right, guys, welcome back to Global Oak Media. And today I want to welcome you to another video and another tutorial. This one is going to be very short, very easy to do, and we're going to go through it very quickly. So, as you saw in the beginning of the video, what we're going to be creating today is basically this moving image that has three bottles that we're going to model, a couple of lights, and this silk type of garment that falls on it. So it's very easy. It's a couple of seconds, and I'm going to take you through exactly how I went about creating this. Okay, so now that we know what we're going to create, what we need to do is come here to File, New, and General, because we're going to start afresh. Don't save that. So now once this is done, the first thing that we're going to do is press A to delete everything from our viewport. Now once this is done, we want to start by creating that portal. So shift A, and we want to add in a circle. Now at this point, I want to point out that you can definitely use a reference, but since this one is not about replicating it in real life, we're just going to use our eyes to try and figure out how long, how big we want it. So first thing we're going to do is press F to fill that face, E and Z, E to extrude, and Z to keep it on that on the Z axis. So let's say, yeah, that's a good size for our bottle. Then what we want to do is come in here and just turn, and this is where now we build that top part. So press I to insert, then E to extrude up, I to insert again, E to extrude up, then I to insert, something like this, then E to extrude this all the way down. Now this part is not necessarily a must, because we are not really going to see the inside of it, but it's if you're detail oriented, or if you want to add something, that's going to be our bottle. So we can as well move this, go to the bottom of our face, and we want to create, press 3, select this, I to insert, and then E to extrude this inside a bit. And now we have something that looks, or like our bottle. So what we want to do is come here, press tab, go to our modifiers, and we want to add a subdivision surface. Make it 2. We also want to add a bevel modifier. So one thing that we can do is we can come back here, we can Control Alt to add a loop cut, and just control this a bit better. Control R again to move this to the top, just to control that a bit better, and moving closer to see how our bevel is working. And just want to increase the segments a bit, increase, so something like that should work okay. So once that is done, right click, shade, smooth, and now essentially we have our bottle over here. So the only thing that's left to do is create that the upper part, the cup of the bottle. So how we're going to do that is we're going to come here, we are going to select this. Okay, if we go to wireframe, if we go to x-ray mode, solid x-ray, and we can see all of this, what we want to do is hold Alt and press this to create, select that entire loop, then Shift D to duplicate, and right click to drop it in position, move your cursor to somewhere here, and then you want to extrude this up on the Z just to create that, and then F to fill the top. Then as always you can control R, wait, no, wrong, so control R just to control how much, you know, that bends. If you want, you can, okay, we can undo that again. So what we can do is we can press I to okay, we can fill this up, press I to insert just to control that a bit better, then control R again and push this up here, and so now we have something that looks like that. So press tab, and now we have that. Now our bottle is complete. As always, you can always shade this smooth. So, and just like that, you know, we have created our bottle. So the other thing that we're going to do is press Shift A, and now what we're doing is creating our backdrop. So scale this on the Y, and scale it again on the X. At this point, it's, you know, how well you want, how big you want it to look. But you know, I think if we move this on the Y a bit and scale it on the Y again, this should be enough for, you know, demonstration purposes. So what we want to do is press tab with you know, 2 selected. I want to select this edge and this one and extrude this on the Z. Something like that should work. Then we want to come here, select this edge and this one, and just Control B to bevel them, just like something like that. Something like that should work. Shape this smooth, and that will work for now. That's you know, that's completely okay. Take this G on the Y, put it here, and that's you know, that completely works. So the other thing that you want to do is press Shift A and add a camera, then find, you know, that position that you're looking for. I'm going to put this here, Control Alt 0. Then we want to, if you press Shift and tilde, and you can use the, you know, WSAD keys to, you know, position your camera how you want it. So I'm going to leave mine there. Only thing I'm going to do is maybe bring this and make it a 35 mm, you know, a bit wide. Then Shift tilde and, you know, zoom this in a bit, you know. So something like that, you know, works for me or works for this example. But you want to go around and set your scene as, you know, as you see it fit. So essentially this is all I did for, you know, for that. The other thing I did is the texturing. So if you go to a shading tab, you can do this. People do it from different people do it in different ways. I'm going to do it here. Select your background, press new, and, you know, for this one I just give it this bluish color for the background, and then made it a bit darker. Made this a bit, you know, a bit darker, and that's about all that went into creating the backdrop. So now the other thing that we have to do is apply a material for our bottle over here. So once you select it, press tab, because we want to apply, you know, something different on different parts of it. So press tab, press new material, and if you come here, this will allow us to, you know, apply it in different, you know, different areas. So we want to come here, and if we go to X-ray mode, this would allow us to select, okay, wait, press tab, press tab again, press 3 for phases, and we just want to select this face, holding Alt to select that, and we want to select all of this. Okay, just zoom in. Just take your time and make sure your selection is well done. Okay, let me just do this way. Like this. That's good. Press tab. Oh, tab again. What is further in? This. Come here. Go to solid mode. Now go to this. Delete X-ray. And so this, we want to assign this a different material, and this is the cup, and we are going to assign the cup, just a dark color. So bring this all the way down, so to almost like a black, and give it that dark color. Now the reason all of it turned dark is because we need to apply a different and assign a different material to the rest of the bottle, and that's what we're going to do. So if we come here, hold Alt, press, select this face, it's going to select the entire loop, and we can move this down and select the rest of it like that. Select everything, and we want to add a new material and assign a new material to that. And so once you do that, as you can see, it gives it an entirely new material. So if we come here, okay, just make sure your material is properly assigned. As you can see, there are places here that have the black material that you give it to the cup. Just take your time and assign the proper materials, or at least one of the things that you could do is, okay, if we go back to the shading tab, right? If we go to the shading, and let's say we remove all of this, so take this, remove this. If we undo the shading, if we come here and we ignore the shading for now. If we go back to our layout, press tab, what we can do is actually press tab again, come back in here, press A, press A a few times to make sure nothing is selected, then go back here, and what we want to do is select the top of our cup like that. Move this, select that, select all of this. Okay, if we select this, and we want to P to separate that selection, then select this and P and separate that selection. What we can do is we can Control J to join those two. Okay, press tab, come back, take this and Control join those two. And so now essentially what that does is now we have the top of our cup and the cup itself. So we can take this, turn this off. As you can see, we have this ring over here. Move in closer, press 3, select that, Alt to select the entire loop, L to press for linked, P to separate by selection, tab to move that, show this, select that, Control J. And so now essentially what we have is our cup and our bottle as different objects. So once this is done, you want to go back to your shading, and like we did last time, select our cup, select the other bottle, and give it the new we want to remove that from that cap, and so this is essentially what we have: our cap, which is the black part, and then the rest of the cap, or the rest of the our bottle, we're going to assign a different material to it. So create new material, then come here, give it a color, let's say blue. Now let's go with red, something simple like that. Then what you want to do is come here in Shift A and search for a magic texture with color to color, and if you move in closely here, you see the pattern that that creates. So you can come here, you can mess with the scale, you can mess with the distortion until you find something that works pretty well for you. You can come here and with the magic texture, the good thing is you can always move around and see if you find something that jumps out to you and makes more sense for you. Or you can actually give it any other texture that you want. You can give it any other texture that you feel. For example, if I didn't want to do this, all I'd have to do is delete that. Come here to the Blender Kit add-on, which is free, and under the materials, search here, and I could do plastic. See what that brings. And once we have this, now I can select whatever type of plastic material I want for the outer part of our bottle over here. So we're just going to scroll through and find something that looks good. Okay, so let's take this for example, and just drop it like that. Let that download, and once that is done, if you zoom in here, you can see clearly that our material is attached. Now the UV is probably wrong. Okay, so you might want to press tab on this, select all, and you want to Smart UV project this, or cube project this, or UV unwrap, Smart UV project, and press OK, and then press tab to come out of that, and that makes it look like this. And so what you want to do, if you have your node wrangler enabled, this is what you'll see, which is the mapping node. So if you just move here, over here, you'll see the scale, and if you press shift, move down, and so now you can scale this until you find something that works for you. Okay, so for example, if that's what we were to go with, if that were something that we were to go with and something that we were comfortable with. Okay, so where was I? Right, so the other thing that you want to go ahead and do is now add our plane. This is going to be the what's it called, the thing that we add the simulation to. This is going to be our silk, so we want to move it right below that, scale it up on the Y, so it covers our bottle. Scale it up on the X again, scale it up on the X, and then move this on the Z and just leave it up there. So select that, tab, press right click to subdivide, and you want to subdivide this quite a bit. So I'm going to go with something like, say, 50 cuts. You can go higher if you want, but for this 50 is going to do. Come back down, and so once you have your render engine in cycles, this GPU, you might want to reduce this to 32. Make sure the noise is selected. Make this 64. Go to your world settings go to your world settings, and you want to bring this all the way down. And so now what we want to do is add in, simple lighting. So go to light, add an area light, G, go Z, move it up, G on the, move it up, then rotate this to make sure it's facing, our product, scale this up. Then you want to go to your light properties and brighten this up. Add, just make sure that you get, the lighting that you want. G on the X, and I'm just going to make this, pretty quick. So Alt duplicate this on the X. I'm using Alt so that when I change anything on this light, the other one changes as well. So put this here, then go ahead and increase. So this is just basic, straightforward lighting, because for the sake of the tutorial, we don't want it to be too long. You want to go ahead and spend a couple of minutes, maybe even an hour, just working on your lighting, alone, just to make sure that everything looks nice. So once your lighting is set up, your backdrop is set up, you want to go ahead and select your plane. Go to our physics tab, make this a collision, select the cap as well, make that a collision, select the backdrop, make it a collision, then select our plane and give it a cloth simulation. Then here you want to go ahead and set this. You can choose, I'm just going to choose silk. If it fell through, that's because you need to go back to the beginning of your timeline. And once you do that, if you now if you play this, you can see the simulation working, the silk or the cloth falling down and covering your just like that. So the other thing that you want to do is, with your cloth selected, go to your modifiers, and you want to add a subdivision surface, then add a solidify modifier, search solidify modifier, make this a bit thicker. You can once that is done, you can come here, right click, and shade that smooth. And what that generally does, it increases, or rather improves, the quality of your cloth simulation. And just like this, basically what you have now is the entire animation done. The only thing that I did that I haven't done here is spend a little more time to decide exactly where my cloth goes, by adding points, or a hook at least on a few of the points, and then moving it or animating it moving out. So that's why in the animation you see the cloth, once it hits, it pulls out. But this is basically how that animation came along. As you can see, it's very straightforward and very simple. And you can go ahead and add your use Blender Kit to find a silk material. Once you have that, you can drag this and you can drop it onto your you can drop the silk material on your cloth. And if it's acting out the way you're seeing there, what you need to do is select it, go to your this part, go to where it says cache, and you want to delete all bix, and then current cache to bake. Okay, or at least you want to play this back first. So once you play this back and you've seen that your texture is now locked on the silk, the silk fabric that we are simulating. What you want to do is find somewhere where that works. So let's say 120. We want to come here, set this to 120 frames. So that's where our animation end, and you can bake current cache to bake. And what this basically does, it is ensures that now you can go to any frame without any problem, and the baking will already have happened, as you can see. So thank you guys for tuning in for another tutorial. In case you have any questions, leave them in the description. Remember to subscribe, like, and share, and I will see you guys next week on the next video.